This week, the Wichita City Council hearing a report from both the city manager and the public works director about the current situation at the city's fire stations. They said the city was made aware of issues dating back to last year. In fact, in September, a black substance was investigated at fire station number 1. Remediation efforts were completed there, but then the city decided to go through and do an inspection of all of their fire stations to see what the situation was there. 20 of 22 Wichita fire stations had mold inside of them. However, that study said only a few of those mold situations ended up being severe. Ted Bush is the president of the Wichita Firefighters Union. Today I talked with him about how serious of a problem this is and what the city needs to do now. Ted, I want to thank you for joining us on the show today. Obviously, the news broke over the weekend that Fire Station 15 had to be evacuated. Tell me about the situation there. Why was that?
Well, I had received a phone call early morning. I believe it was Friday or Saturday. I can't remember now, but I received a call from a firefighter who had come off shift and started complaining about illness and burning in his eyes, nose, and throat. And we knew that there's some remediation being done at the station and that possibly kicking up some of the mold that's in the station and some of the dust and dirt up in the ceilings had affected the firefighters because, I mean, obviously it's different than being there for a few hours and then you have to sleep there and live there. So I contacted the administration and it was just a joint decision made to evacuate them until we can test the atmosphere and make sure it's safe for firefighters to return. Station 15, incidentally, was one of the worst affected stations in the city as far as mold.
And I know you mentioned some of those firefighters reported feeling ill. I mean, how are they doing right now? Are they fine?
Much better. Yeah, I checked with them. Obviously, the few days away from the station, they started to feel better. The burning went away. The burning in the eyes and nose and throat went away. It subsided by about 2 days after they had left the area.
And I think the immediate concern from community members is response times. I know you had kind of come out and said after this happened that we could have an issue with response times because of this fire station closing. Obviously, it's near Rock in Lincoln. Should people that live in that area be concerned? What are you guys doing to try to prevent that from being an issue?
Well, we're talking about strategies to make that a little bit better. Maybe we come in closer to the response area instead of staying at 20s. We're talking about how we can do that and still respond to those areas. There are going to be delays, and that's really one of the tragedies of this whole thing. I mean, I always say there's kind of 3 pillars to this thing. Is A, it could have been prevented had deferred maintenance not caused this. 2, the citizens are going to suffer because of slower response time. And 3, we have some sick firefighters that shouldn't be sick because of their building. They take enough risk as it is just by being firefighters. And this is just a risk that shouldn't happen. And so those are the 3 main concerns that I had about the whole situation.
And this has become such a big issue. It's made it to the city council. I mean, the city council members weren't even supposed to meet to talk about this week, but they did. You know, they heard a report from both the city manager and the public works director about some of the things that they've seen over the past few months when it comes to those fire stations. I know they did a study to see how bad the mold is, showed that there was mold in 20 of the city's 22 fire stations, but only a few of those situations were deemed serious. I'm curious how you react to that.
Well, I mean, I am glad it became an issue. It's too bad it had to happen the way it did because it was an issue in 2018 also. And we've reported this over and over and over again. I mean, there are plenty of documented cases of people reporting problems with leaks in the fire station and tiles and mold and things of that nature. And it always seemed to be just kicked back. And unfortunately, it took a firefighter that got ill to cause them to have action. I was happy about the response of the city council. Obviously, they didn't know. And now that they do know, You know, we have to do things different in the city. We can't do this to our employees. They're our biggest. We invest so much into them, and what they do for this city is, and to treat them this way is just unfortunate. So look, I'm looking forward. You know, this it's people know we know what we have to do, and let's just put our foot forward and move forward.
Well, I know you're encouraged that the city council was able to hear this. And I mean, I was at that meeting and I thought it was encouraging to see the concern on their faces hearing this
Yeah.
report. Obviously, they weren't able to take action this week, but what do you think needs to happen next in this process?
Well, let's let's hire the professionals that do mold mitigation, and let's just get to work and make sure that everybody's safe at their. It's pretty simple. Let's make sure everyone's safe at their workplace, and give these professionals the opportunity to serve the community like they should. They shouldn't be sick while they're serving the community because of their building. So when a firefighter has a concern about a station, let's fix it before A, it makes anyone sick, and two, before it's more expensive than it should have been 3 years ago. So this is a way to save the city's tax money. It's an efficient way to spend that money, is to fix these problems when they first arrive. And I think that's the attitude that we have to take. We have a new city manager, and we basically do have new city council members. Maybe this is the fresh look that we need, and then the past, because this did happen in the past. This just didn't land on this council's lap. It's not their fault. It really isn't. They're just trying to deal with what they found out this weekend. This has been going on a long time, and it's not the city manager's fault. It landed in his lap too. This is ongoing problems we've had for 20 years that I know of, and so I want to give them the latitude to do the right thing, and I think they are. I really do. I'm optimistic, and I'm not cynical. I just want to move forward and make it better for everyone.
And so before we go, I mean, if you could get one message across to the city council members, the city staff that are going to have to make the decision on how to fund these repairs, what would that message be?
Look, the sales tax was an opportunity given to us to specify money for the fire department to fix these kind of issues. It was the first opportunity that we had, that we were ever offered by city or anyone else. We thought it would be great for us. If the city itself does not feel that this is the way to do it, we're fine with that. Nothing changes for us on March 4th at all. We will still make those alarms. We will still do our best. We will still risk our lives for the citizens of Wichita every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year long. And nothing changes for us. We just have to do it the way we've been doing it, and maybe look forward in different ways. But, I think this whole issue became so political that it's unfortunate. And even to where citizens were thinking this was some sort of ploy to push the sales tax. And, I can't even dignify that, because that's not true. It happened this weekend, and we have to deal with it no matter what is on the plate politically. I don't care. It was, like I said, the sales tax was brought to us as an opportunity for specific tax funds for the fire department, and we need it. We do. And so, but if this is not the way to do it, hey, we move on. Our neighbors have spoken, yes or no, and we're fine with that either way.
All right. Well, thanks, Ted. I really appreciate you joining us on the show, giving us some of your insight into how all those problems are working out. And I wish the best to you trying to get some of that fixed.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
As far as what's next at Wichita's fire stations, well, that's still a mystery. Wichita City Council members promised Fire Chief Tammy Snow this week that they would find the money to get her to fix these problems. But the Public Works Director said he doesn't know how much money it's going to cost. City Council members are expecting a full report on the mold situation at these fire stations at some point in the coming weeks. Once they see that, they'll be able to make a better decision as far as what to do next. We want to make sure you stay with us. We're going to take another quick break, but we've got a big look at what's coming up on next week's show. It's going to be sales tax all the time. That vote coming up in less than 2 weeks. We're going to show you a little bit of what's coming up on next week's episode after the break.